Hello and welcome to another episode of Charlotte Sketches, where Charlotte sketches. I am your host Charlotte, and these are my sketches. So it's been a while since I've had time to record anything for YouTube, mostly because I've been picking up some extra hours at work. And interestingly enough, I may have actually gotten an animation job from one of the customers who comes in pretty frequently. So that's super exciting. I'll definitely be looking into that in the near future. So probably going to have to work on making an official schedule when it comes to making YouTube videos from now on. I just know there's more hours in the day somewhere, I'll just have to find them. On another note, a lot of people have been really pushing the topic of fundamentals in my comment section, and in a way, kind of raising an accusatory tone with me concerning my previous videos on the topic. In my video, Why Your Art Teacher Was Right About Anime, I tried to argue the point that the industry doesn't currently have a company for 2D hand-drawn anime in the West, and that's why you can't make a living on it in the same way that you would if you worked for DreamWorks or Disney. It was fairly simple, and I tried my best to articulate it in a way that showed that I wasn't saying you should stop, but that you should also be prepared to build an industry for it if it's something you wanted to make a living off of. I also specifically avoided talking about fundamentals, because in nearly every video that has the words, "My art teacher hates," and "anime" in the title, the primary points were always about the fundamentals and the reasoning for why you should always practice from life first. There's a million videos on YouTube already talking about that, and I didn't feel I needed to add to the library of redundancy any more than has already been done. But that's why I didn't add to the video, and why I didn't think I should have to serve as a mouthpiece for something that literally most kids in high school already know. It's not to say I'm above it, it's just to say that there doesn't really seem to be a point. If you're going to a potluck and you know everyone's bringing a pie, I think you kind of have a moral obligation to bring a cake. That's just me. But in the interest of fairness, I did want to address my personal relationship to the fundamentals, and the things I'd encourage most for young artists who want to improve, because these are kind of the tried and true ways of getting better at drawing, and they definitely worked for me. And I'm sure they'd also work for someone else. So here's just one of them. I think my first tip would be to put down the pencil, and to pick up the pen. Or Sharpie, if that's your preference. I know it's mine. The reason for this is that committing to your strokes is the way you sort of rewire your brain into contemplating what you want to draw. When you have no way of taking back your stroke, it makes your movements more purposeful and deliberate. When I was 13, I went to a Fenton's for the first time, so I could meet with some of the artists who worked on Pixar's movie Up. One of the artists there gave me this advice: only ever draw in pen. Never draw in something you can erase with. And it totally changed my life. It forced me to push myself to make decisions about what I was doing rather than just backtracking every time I made a mistake. I think it's really important for artists to recognize that while they have a vision of what they want to make, if they can't clearly express that through draftsmanship, it doesn't really matter how creative you are. You could have the best story in the world that could connect to millions of people and inspire them and make them really feel something. But if you can't articulate it, or worse, if you can only half articulate it, then it really doesn't matter. That's part of the reason why fundamentals and pushing yourself is so important. Because it isn't about drawing the stupid still life or the potted plant or the naked form across the room in front of you. It has almost nothing to do with that. It has to do with building your skill set so that you can properly convey the stories and images that you want to. It has to do with building yourself a library of options to pick from. And that's the real reason for the fundamentals. You're not supposed to go out and try and slay the dragon. You're just doing push-ups so that you have the arm strength to pick up the sword. You're not running a marathon. You're working on your footwork so you don't trip and fall on your face before the finish line. You're not swimming the ocean. You're making sure you stretch properly so that you don't cramp in the middle and drown. There's plenty of overly zealous artists who want to just jump to the finish line without doing any of the hard work that it takes to get there. And when you do this, you really shortchange yourself. You have to look at the fundamentals the way you look at a training montage in a movie. It's sweaty work. It involves a lot of frustration and a lot of effort. But it all amounts to you getting closer to the climax at the end of the movie. The point is that you get to decide what you do with your own art, and you're totally entitled to say that you want to do anime and only anime. There's nothing wrong with that. But what is wrong with that is it better be because you want to draw anime, and only anime, and never because anime is the only thing you're capable of drawing. Anime should always be a choice you make, not the only option that you have. And to stave off other art forms like realism, which anime is literally derived from, you do a disservice to yourself and what you're really capable of. I am not saying don't draw anime. I am saying choose anime. Don't settle for anime. That's all. And hey, that's just my take on it. I hope this video was helpful to some people. I may tell some funny stories about my days in art college a little later, since I have a lot of those. So let me know in the comments if you'd be interested in that. Outside of that, thanks for sticking around to the end. And if you like this channel, if you like what I do, definitely consider donating to my Patreon. $1 a month really helps me make more content like this. Also, if you like my work and would like to buy some of it, feel free to check out my Etsy store. The links will be in the description. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments section what stories you'd like to hear from me next. Once again, this has been Charlotte Sketches, where Charlotte sketches. Have a good night.